There's a new type of condo being built in the heart of downtown Toronto that promises to be the trend of the future. It's called the micro condo. But would you want to live there? Business reporter Scott Peterson weighs the pros and cons of compact living.
These days, smaller is better. You've seen the evolution of room-sized computers turn into something we can now place on our laps, or television screens that now fit in the palm of our hand. That's because technology and the microchip is getting smaller. Now extend that thinking to where we live. Introducing the microcondo. It's the next big thing in our lives to get smaller. Just how small? Try 280 square feet. Imagine cramming your entire life into a space no bigger than your bedroom.
So this is an example of a closet that comes standard at Smart House.
This tiny closet is just one example of how we're going to be living in the future. Smarter and also smaller. And it's also probably going to mean getting rid of all those puffy coats.
We try to take a certain amount of space and make it feel like a lot more by design.
And part of that design is a couch that flips into a bed. Your cutting board tucked into a drawer. Your fridge built into a cabinet. Your dishwasher slides under the sink, and the bathroom, do you mind? It seems like the future's got everything figured out. But can you imagine fitting all of your stuff into 289 square feet?
Well, this is too small to actually live in. If you're serious, I thought this was a joke.
Oh no, this is not a joke.
Wow, that's too small to live in.
This was smaller than our living and dining room, and imagine trying to live your whole life in this.
Going from a tiny subway car to a tiny apartment into a tiny office, it's not going to turn out really well for anybody.
And even if you like the idea, not so fast. Turns out the banks may think they're too risky.
There's only a handful of lenders that are interested in lending on these 300 square foot or less condos. For the most part, most lenders don't want to touch them. They're just too small.
Small or not, people are already living in them. Tokyo's been doing it for years. They're living in what's called a capsule tower with condos only 10 feet by 10 feet. That idea is spread to New York and Vancouver. Sure, it's easy to cram our lives into such a tight space, but is it possible for our minds to adapt?
It would be absolutely impossible to live in such a space. I'm actually a neuroscientist, and I can tell you that the human brain will go through all kinds of weird convulsions.
Weird convulsions or not, micro condos are coming to Toronto. And for people that want to be in the middle of the city, they are affordable places. And who knows, the first batch of these things aren't due till 2017. And by that time, we could all be used to the idea. Scott Peterson, CBC News, Toronto.